Okay, so welcome to this module, guys, where we're going to be talking about chart patterns, right? So how to identify and read chart patterns with ease. Okay, this is one of my favorite aspects of crypto trading because a lot of people try to use this particular aspect to trade and then they always hit stop loss. But I used to wonder why, because I trade chart patterns and then I do get good result. Okay, recently I was even in one of my boss was teaching me, and then in his video he made reference to my name when he was teaching about chart patterns. He was like, he called my name because of how he taught us how to trade with other methods. He personally admitted that he doesn't use chart patterns, but because of how he sees my results with chart patterns, he made reference to my name when he was creating the video. So it's more like I was blushing. He gets so, and that's why I want to teach you guys about chart patterns and how you guys can also use it to be able to make good analysis for yourself. Okay. So what are chart patterns now? Okay, chart patterns are setups formed by a group of candlesticks on a chart, which have repeatedly formed over time and help inform the trader on possible price projection. Okay, we spoke the last video we spoke about candlestick patterns. Okay, so candlestick patterns are when 2 or 3 candlesticks come together to form a specific structure that informs possible price movement. Right now, when these candlesticks are more than 3, it begins to form a chart patterns. Okay, chart patterns can go. I think chart patterns can reach can be forming even more than up to 100 candlesticks can come together to form a specific pattern. See, you see the market, but the crypto market is the crypto. Once you look at that crypto market, all those chart, there's where you train your eyes, but you begin to see that the market is full of different structures. Recently, I was talking to one of my guys, Jonathan, and then he told me that how he observed that the market is full of patterns. That's just it. The market does not move haphazardly. Okay, if you keep on interacting with the market, you begin to see some reoccurrent structures, reoccurring patterns. Now, all you need to do as a trader is to take advantage of those patterns. Let me give an instance now. Whenever we're in Nigeria here, I stay in Just Plateau State. The moment we discover that around which time rain the force, but the moment there's where a cloud will begin to get. Now nobody's telling us that rain want to follow. Maybe the previous day was very, very scorching, like the sun was very, very scorching. But maybe the next day we begin to see a dark cloud begins to form. What begins to come to our mind? Rain wants to fall. Because of what? That particular pattern has happened over and over again in the past. All right, you can see that because of just the formation of a certain pattern, we begin to predict or react to possible reactions. So that's exactly what chart patterns do. A group of candlesticks coming together to form a specific structures that you can use to analyze the market. All right, the entire setup is a combination of a variety of repeated patterns. If you look at the market, it's patterns upon patterns. There's a lot of, just as we have a lot of candlestick patterns, right? We have a lot of chart patterns. So it's just up to you to know how to train your eyes. Because at first, but if you're looking at the chart, hear this from me, you'll be confused. You'll not be able to make any meaning out of the chart. But the moment you keep on training your eyes will begin to see some of these patterns at a glance. For example, now when I was starting, one of my favorite patterns is the rising wedge and the triangle. Can I tell you something that there's a time that I will open my chart, I'll stay there for like 4 hours, I won't see anything. But as I speak to you now, I can just open my chart and almost immediately I would spot a pattern. Almost immediately, because I've trained my eyes. That's why I want to teach you guys, so you can also go and apply the effort to train your own eyes too, right? So let's proceed. Now, types of chart patterns. Okay, just like we have in the candlestick patterns, we also have similar structures to in the chart patterns. We have the continuation chart patterns, the reversal candlestick patterns, and the bilateral chart patterns. Okay, I wouldn't say much about this ones because I have explained how some of this concept work when I was explaining the candlestick patterns. So I'm just going to be very, very swift here, so we don't waste so much time, right? So the continuation candlestick patterns, chart patterns rather, these are chart patterns that indicates possible continuous flow of price momentum in the direction of the underlying price movement. When a continuation chart pattern happens along an uptrend, it means price is most likely to keep going upward. Likewise, a downtrend. Example of a continuation chart patterns include flag patterns, wedge pattern, and pennant patterns. Okay, like I told you, continuation chart patterns. Just look at them, continuation. Whenever a pattern, you look at your market and you identify a continuation chart patterns, which are pennant and all of them, then you have an idea. Okay, this market is most likely to keep advancing or declining. So if the market was advancing initially, and then you see a continuation chart pattern, it means the market will advance further. If the market was declining, it means the market will decline further. So that's exactly what a continuation chart pattern is. So this is not really hard to understand. Okay, so we have the example. You can see them, the falling wedge. You can see the rising wedge. You can see the bullish rectangle, you can see the bearish rectangle, you can see the bullish pennant, you can see it. Okay, these are things that, like I said, you don't need to cram them. Okay, just go on Google and search chart patterns. You're going to see this picture. This I got it from Google. You're going to see this particular picture. Okay, just download it and then you can use it to make reference. And of course, some of the books in the comment section, in the bonus section, you can just use it to learn how to learn more about some of these chart patterns and some of the psychology behind these chart patterns. Okay, and Renatio is one of my biggest. I love his books on chart patterns. Okay, the guy he knows how to explain things in simple form. So I'll already recommend you go and check out his book. Okay, so let's proceed. All right, so reversal candlestick patterns. Okay, in simplest form, these are candlestick patterns. These are chart patterns that the moment you see them, it's kind of signals that okay, there's about to be a change in market structure. For in an uptrend, market is about to change to a downtrend, right? So this is exactly what a reversal candlestick pattern, chart pattern is. Okay, and these are chart patterns that indicate possible opposite flow of momentum in the direction of the underlying price movement. So if market was going upward, market will reverse downward. If market was going downward, market is going to reverse upward. Okay, so examples of these reversal patterns are double top, double bottom, head and shoulder, reversal, inverse head and shoulder, triple top, and yeah, so all this, they're easy to understand. If you see me just being kind of reluctant to go deep into them, because I know they're easy to understand. Okay, if I try to force you guys to understand this particular video, I might end up just frustrating you guys. Okay, so you guys should just take your time, allow yourself go through the process. Okay, like I said, in one of the bonus sections, you're going to see the book that explains about kind of a very easy book. I think it's just less than 15 pages or so, 20 pages max. So if you just read the book, you'll be able to understand how some of these patterns work. So you can see it. Just as you open your chart and then you discover that a group of candlesticks come together to form and when we say double top, look how it forms the first structure, like an M. You can see it now. The moment an M forms is what a reversal. You can see how price begins to begin. Look at it. The price was actually going up. An M pattern formed. What happened next? The market dump. You can see the head and shoulder. The head and shoulder is just like the normal head and shoulder. You can see it. First shoulder, head, second shoulder, right? So you can see that the moment the price was going, it formed the first shoulder, formed the head, formed the second shoulder. Then have it at the back of your mind that the market is going to dump real hard. Okay, you can see. So the other one is the double bottom. The double top and the double bottom are just the opposite. Okay, so when the market is in a downtrend and then you see a double bottom, what should you be expecting? You should be expecting the market should pump and start going upward. Because it ends up with the inverse head and shoulder. Okay. It's just the opposite of the head and shoulder, the inverse. So it happens mainly in the downtrend. Whenever you see these structures forming, have it at the back of your mind that the market's about to reverse. Okay, we also have the rising wedge and the falling wedge. Like I said, these are my most beautiful. This rising wedge and triangle pattern, they are my most beautiful patterns. Okay, they work like crazy. So just learn how to use them and you should be good, right? So bilateral chart patterns, okay, these are patterns that neither indicate a continuation or a reversal in the flow of price momentum, as they can serve in both cases. Okay, like when you check, just check your phone and look for type the word bilateral. Bilateral means it's just like a double-edged sword. Exactly, that means our double-edged sword. Okay, you can either use this particular edge to cut, or you can use the other edge to cut, whichever way would serve. Okay, so that's exactly what this bilateral pattern means. Okay, so whenever you're looking at your chart and then you discover that some of this a bilateral pattern is forming, have it at the back of your mind that the market might either go up or go down. So all you're going to wait for is the breakout. We talked about breakout structures, right? So that is where it's going to be very, very important whenever you discover a bilateral chart pattern, right? Because the moment the structure is forming, then what is going to help you to know where to trade or which decision to take is based on the side that has the breakout. So you wait for the breakout and the retest, and then you take a decision that favors your bias. Okay, so the direction of price movement is dependent on where the breakout structure occurs, right? So that's just a simple explanation. Okay, so examples of bilateral patterns is just a triangle. Okay, any triangle you see is a bilateral pattern. Okay, you can see it here: ascending triangle, descending triangle, and symmetrical triangle. Okay, you can see it in both cases here. And you can look at it here. You just look at the chart, and then you're going to understand what I'm trying to say. The breakouts can happen anywhere, so it's just based on which side the price movement can happen in any direction. Is dependent on where the breakouts happened. Okay, so these structures are not really hard to understand. They're hard to spot. Okay, the concept is not really hard to understand because this is just like a paper book illustration. But when you go in your chart, that's when you might have slight difficulties understanding it. But then with constant practice, you're definitely going to get to. So let's proceed, right? So how do you use these chart patterns to trade? Very, very beautiful. Okay, identify your support and your resistance, identify your trend, look out for chart patterns at area of value. You can see how this thing is repeating itself. Okay, that's why I told you trading, but it's not really difficult. What is making it difficult is because people are trying to overcomplicate things. They're not really going it step by step. They just want to start from primary school in trading and they don't just go to the university. It doesn't work that way. You need to follow it step by step. Okay, and I believe that the way I'm explaining it is making it easy for you guys to assimilate. All right, so look out for chart patterns at area of value, then take a trade decision that favors your bias. Very, very simple. All right, so very simple. There's not so much difficulty to do. I already taught you how to identify your support and resistance. Okay, so you can see this is my support and my resistance. You already know how to do it, right? So you can see that the price was at my support, and then the price is already advancing upward. I was able to identify my trend line. Okay, after identifying my trend line, what happened next? You can see what happened. Price was moving up, and I discovered that there was a pattern that formed. Now, what pattern is that? That is what we call the bullish pennant. And of course, when we talked about bullish pennant, if you're actually taking note, you discover that the bullish pennant is a continuation chart pattern. It means that the market is going to continue in the direction in which it was going initially. So this was an uptrend. The market was heading upward. So since we saw a continuation chart pattern, what is happening? It means that the market is most likely going to go up. Okay, so how do you take advantage of this particular trade? This is it. You can see how I place my position too, because I know that the market is going to keep on going upward. So I identified my bullish pennant, and then I put my position. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you guys how to put your position to very, very well. So you don't just put it at anywhere. It's not like I told you, nothing in this crypto market is randomly taken. No decision is randomly taken. There's actually a science behind every decision. Okay, we talked about order block. So you're going to look for order block at that particular region, because if you look at where I put this my position to now, it's most likely tallying with a demand zone. I talked about demand zone. You can see how I'm joining the whole concept now. If you look at it now, it's most likely what align with my demand zone, because a demand zone is most likely resting on the trend line. You can see my trend line is this dotted line. Okay, so you can see the exact point at which I put my position to would most likely tally with the demand zone. So all I need to do is to find an order block there that I know the price is going to come back, tap into before the push happens. Okay, and of course you can see what happened here, right? This is beautiful. I'm really excited about the kind of traders I'm going to produce, because if you guys take this course seriously, you're definitely going to get good result. Okay, you can see how price neatly tapped into my entry, and of course you are in good profit. Okay, just as I'm telling you, you're going to be, this is how you be in profit. Okay, I'm being this very confident, because I know it works. Okay, and then I want you guys to actually put in the best to say you make the most out of this training, right? So keynotes to using chart patterns, and would call it a day. Okay, chart patterns at key areas of support, not if. Chart patterns at key areas of support or resistance or trend lines have more credence. For example, if you look at the illustration we did before, look at it. Let me go back some more. Look at what happened here. You can see that the chart pattern was formed at a key area of demand. It was not just formed anywhere, right? So yeah, it was not just formed anywhere. So you need to look out for chart pattern. Excuse me, sorry. So you need to look out for chart patterns at key areas of there are certain areas you need to look for chart patterns. You don't just look. For example, now, if a reversal pattern happens there, I might be skeptical about it, because that particular point is just like the middle, where I'm going to be very much happy to say reversal pattern is either at the support or the resistance. When I sit at the middle, I might not so much trust like that. But when I say continuation chart pattern at the middle, I know the market is most likely going to continue. You see how we use some of these small psychologies to understand this concept here, right? So then the next principle we have is be flexible to your imagination. Of course, what I was giving you guys was textbook illustration. If you go on the chart, you see something different. It's not the same thing. You just use your trend line tool to just connect the lines, and of course you're going to make meaning out of the chart, right? So just be flexible to your imagination, and you must not see a perfect picture. Okay, you must not see a perfect picture. Once it just look like a pennant, it's a pennant. You don't need to stress yourself, right? So chart patterns will always not play out as required. So always apply proper risk management. Of course, nothing in cryptocurrency is 100% guaranteed. As much as I'm telling you that chart patterns sometimes you might see a beautiful triangle pattern and it might not play out as you want. It might just get you stopped out of the market. It happens, okay? But it's very rare. Maybe out of, like I said, these chart patterns, they work 75% of the time. So if you're correct 75% is good, all right? So if you're correct, just make sure that the 25% of the time that you're wrong, you shouldn't really lose so much. And that is where the idea of risk management comes into play. Okay, so yeah, chart patterns sometimes might not really work like that. It's just it happens. That's just how the market creates a check and balance. You would not always win. Okay, I talked about how losses should be your friend. Okay, so we have don't use chart patterns alone. Justify your trade decisions. Use other don't use chart patterns alone to justify your trade decisions. Use other confirmations. Okay, beautiful. Like not only chart patterns, every structure at all. You don't just use them. If you look at, if you're very sensitive, you discover that in all the training I'm doing, I'm trying to put in your subconscious that there's a process to doing analysis. Okay, you start from structures to this. So that's how you're going to do it. You don't just look up and look at chart patterns and say, okay, the market is this. No. There are certain things you need to do if you must yeah, if you must actually make the most out of this trading stuff, right? There are certain processes you must follow. Okay, so don't use chart patterns alone. Okay, always use it in a combination as a confirmation. Okay, so yeah, it's been okay. Yeah, la final keynotes. You need to practice, 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 practice. Okay, this will help you train your eyes to spot these patterns with ease. Like I told you, these patterns on textbook they might be easy, they might be sweet. Okay, you be like, ah, Jesus, this is how cryptocurrency is sweet. But the moment you go on the chart, your eye want to fall off because you might not see anything enticing on the chart. Okay, but the moment you keep on practicing, drawing your lines, you will definitely begin to see them. Okay, I'm speaking like this because I know it works. If you see me emphasizing practice, 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 because that is actually what that's the only guarantee you can become a master. Not even this video you're watching here. Not even this video here. So trust me, if 100 people watch this video, people that will become very good in TA are not up to 5. I'm just being very, very sincere because not everybody is going to have the mentality to practice. Everybody is not, so people are just naturally lazy. You get, so don't just make sure that you're among that 5 people that want to succeed. Not because of the video is not rich or no, but because of it's just human behavior or human characteristics that they don't want to practice. Nobody wants to do anything that is going to take his time or make him have sleepless night. No. But then at the end of the day, you that would take your time to practice, you definitely have good results that you'd be forever proud of. Okay. And of course, you'd get to afford the dream life you ever wanted. Okay. So thank you so much. Like I said, always use Google and Baby Pips to learn more about chart patterns. Okay, use Baby Pips. Okay, just go on www.babypips.com and learn about chart patterns. Their explanation there is beautiful. It's beautiful. If you see me constantly repeating this particular website, you just know that I know what I've actually tested from them, and then I discovered that they are good. Okay, so if I make reference to them, it's because of I've that's where I learned from too. Get so just go there and learn about chart patterns. Now, let me say something now before we conclude, right? Let me make my face full. Now, let's just before we conclude. No, chart patterns, right? A lot of people do not really believe in chart patterns. So, there's something I'm going to teach you guys about liquidity, okay? And when we get to liquidity aspect, you're going to learn how to, because people are beginning to, some whales are beginning to manipulate these chart patterns, right? But then I'm going to teach you guys about liquidity so you can know how I'm able to use chart patterns and succeed while others are using it and failing. It's just a very slight, they are the same, it's the same idea, but it's just one small knowledge that I have. Remember I said that you get paid for knowing specific knowledge, not for knowing general knowledge. Chart patterns are general knowledge, but then there's a specific knowledge that I know about liquidity that is going to help me to always take advantage of market manipulation and be in profit. So rather than market manipulation taking me out of the market, I'm going to use it to my advantage. This is something that not everybody know. Some people just know about bullish pennants, yeah, but they don't really know this. I'm telling you, this small knowledge that I know that is giving me an advantage over them, right? So if you want to get this kind of advantage, you need to actually pay attention to what I'm going to be teaching you, and yeah, you're definitely going to get results, all right? So see you guys on the other side, okay?